Good afternoon, traders. It is Thursday, December 27th, 2018, and the U.S. stock market is closed. Hey, yesterday, you recall, we finished the day with nearly $50,000 in open trade equity, and we had 28 positions and 27 of them were positive. Only one was negative. And I said somewhat facetiously yesterday that in the good old days, that could possibly open up the next day at like $70,000 or something like that, but that the way things were going in 2018, that if things went that way, we'd probably end up getting something like $15,000 in profits out of that $50,000 in open trade. Well, folks, the Dow opened up negative this morning. You can see that on the chart here. It opened up negative 200-300 points. And we ended up getting out of all that with $14,000. I really called it, didn't I? Yeah, it was unbelievable. And I just sat here and looked at these screens in utter shock and disbelief. I've kind of gotten over that now, and am simply saying to myself, I'm going to stick with this and it will get better. That's about all I can say. And what's incredible about this chart, I'm showing you, this is the short view on the Dow. This huge bounce here was yesterday's record gain of over 1,000 points in the Dow. It opened negative, went even more negative here, and then had this unbelievable rally the last 2 hours or so of the day, and it actually ended up closing up another 260 points from where it closed yesterday, and closing right on its high. Now, if this damn thing had opened up here where it closed, we might have gotten that $70,000, but the sellers were out in full force this morning, and we had only one losing trade in open trade yesterday, and I think by the time we got out, we had about 8 losing trades. But even worse than that, all our positive trades, we still had 20-some positive trades, but all those profits were severely depressed, and most of the profits were under $1,000. So we just, as I say, we come out with $14,000 in profits for the day. That's it, out of all those wonderful positions that we had yesterday. So that's kind of a lengthy way of saying, these stocks just aren't in sync with my system, or perhaps my system isn't in sync with these stocks. Obviously, in hindsight, the thing to do, and in fact the thing to have done most during this year, is to get out on a close rather than waiting to the next day. But I am very reluctant to start doing that, because I know from experience, and believe me, I have a lot of experience with this, the day I start doing that, it's going to switch back, and the old method that we're using right now is what becomes extremely profitable. So I'm not going to change, but today's action pretty much seals my fate. I'm going to have some loss at the end of the year for the entire year, which I have not experienced in over 20 years of trading. But it's not a big loss. I explained you that yesterday. My account is fully intact. What I'm seeing here is by this Dow action, I think this market's going to explode to the top side. And I have another issue I have to deal with, is I'm in the process of making a new portfolio and sending that out to my customers probably on New Year's Day. And I have to make some decisions here. First of all, I would say about 32 of the 50-some stocks we are trading are terrible. They need to be taken out of the portfolio and replaced by new stocks. I've pretty much done all the selection now, but very typically when I go through this transition of going from one portfolio to another, we have a couple days when our portfolio is vastly reduced in the number of stocks we're trading. Here's the problem I have. I don't know for sure when this thing's going to blow its top. I believe it will blow its top, and I don't want to be trading half or 1/3 of my portfolio. When that happens, I want to be in there full bore. So I got to decide exactly when we're going to make this transition. I planned actually to start it today, but I didn't. So anyway, I'm going to have to wait till New Year's Day to make this decision. I'm not sure. If you're my customer, you'll hear from me, though, on New Year's Day, one way or the other. That I promise. The other thing that happened, just if seeing your profits go from $50,000 down to $14,000 isn't bad enough. We got into just 2 new positions today. We got new positions in UGAZ and BOIL. Though that's UGAZ and BOIL. Both those are long positions in natural gas. Those 2 stocks, people, have accounted for over half our losses in all of December, if you can believe it. They're absolutely the worst stocks I have ever traded. And I almost removed them from trading today, but I held back on that because I haven't notified my customers. I don't like to just go doing something before I tell my customers I'm doing it, so I kept them in the portfolio. And yeah, we got positions in both those, and we're holding negative $5,000 in open trade equity on those 2 horrible stocks going into tomorrow. And although I hope it doesn't happen, those are extremely volatile stocks, and it's not impossible that negative $5,000 could go to negative $20,000 tomorrow. So yeah, I'm pretty upset. This just isn't going the way it should. And all I can say is the reason I'm not just throwing up my arms and walking away from this is, I've been through this before. Believe me, I've been through with it. And it can turn on a dime. You know, today's pattern that is just consistently losing for us day after today can all of a sudden tomorrow become extremely profitable and stay profitable for a long time. I've seen this happen again and again and again. Patterns in trading shift. And so the last thing I'm going to do is change my pattern at this time. But boy, today was just a big slap in the face. That's all I can say. I don't have anything that I want to show you. I don't want to discuss those horrible charts today any longer. So this is Trader Bob signing off. I will be back here tomorrow on my favorite day, Friday.